Hello, good afternoon and welcome everybody to our Cabinet meeting. As usual, this meeting is broadcast live via the Council's website and will be archived so you can view it afterwards. Members are reminded to switch off the microphones before they speak and turn them on when they've finished. Apologies for absence. We have no apologies for absence. Item 1, the minutes of the meeting held on the 16th of 2025, pages 3 to 8. I move the minutes of the meeting held on the 16th of December 2025, taken as read and confirmed and signed. Is that agreed? Thank you. Item 2 is urgent items. There are no urgent items. Item 3 is declarations of interest. Is there any declarations of interest? No? Thank you very much. Right. Item 4, the provisional medium-term financial strategy 2026/27 to 2029/30 supplementary report. The first report today sets out the proposal budget for the consultation and scrutiny. Supplementary report was circulated last Friday and it is published on the Council's website. Declan Keegan, the Director of Corporate Resource, will present the report. Then I will ask Mr. Fowler to speak as the Cabinet lead member. Declan, you're in place and ready to go. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. When the draft MTFS was published in December, the provisional local government settlement hadn't been received. Now at this House, we can see that the 3-year settlement has been confirmed and funding allocations have been updated to reflect the government's funding reforms. The proposed funding allocations are slightly better than expected for the county councils, as we already had accounted for government's changes to the approach that benefited metropolitan areas. The reforms recognise that Leicestershire has been historically underfunded, but this does not translate into a meaningful funding increase due to the government's decision to increase the importance of the ability to raise council tax in allocations. When the final allocations are released, Leicestershire's position as one of the lowest funded areas is not expected to have changed. We are expected to receive an announcement on the treatment of the accumulated SEND deficits as part of the provisional settlement. This was not included, and in its place just a reminder that the expectation that councils retain responsibility for effective local management of SEND services. The final settlement is expected to be released next week, and any new information will be assessed for the impact on the MTFS being recommended to the County Council. So turning to the report itself. Since the draft MTFS was produced, there has been an improvement in the position for all years. Although this does not change the key messages, we are still forecasting to use reserves to balance the budget next year, and the gap between income and expenditure is still forecast to be significant at £85 million for the final year. The main changes to the 26-27 budget since the draft was released are £3 million improvement in government grants, a £4.5 million reduction in forecast growth and inflationary cost pressures, a £1.6 million additional provision to reflect higher SEND pressures. The draft MTFS assumed a council tax increase of 2.99%, generating £13 million per annum. This is the basis of today's report. As Cabinet is aware, this is below the level of inflation facing the council, particularly the national living wage, which is due to rise by 4.1% in April. On the government's preferred measure of core spending power, over 70% of the additional income for next year is derived through council tax, rather than central government resources. Despite recent changes, this is a slightly higher proportion than last year. Over the course of the MTFS, £48 million of savings have been identified to help mitigate the additional costs from service demand and inflation in the council's core budget. This includes an initial contribution of £4.5 million from the efficiency review. Despite the level of savings and growth reduction activities, the budget next year requires reserves of £18 million to bring it into balance. Using reserves in this way is not a desirable position, and gaining a significant level of savings through the efficiency review will be vital if this position is to be avoided in the future. Since the draft capital programme presented to the Cabinet in December, there have been several changes to the Environment and Transport programme. These changes primarily relate to additional grant information received and are all fully funded. The capital revenue budgets for next year are built on reasonable assumptions, and while the forecast use of reserves is not desirable, my assessment is that we can be confident of delivering a balanced budget. For the following years of the MTFS, there is naturally a greater level of uncertainty. Despite the 3-year settlement, the nation's finances will continue to be a key determinant of local pressures. This will be through a combination of the levels of inflation, people's personal finances, and the income streams outside the settlement that are at ministerial discretion. In addition to the financial challenge, this council will need to prepare for reorganisation, as government are not expected to decide on the chosen option until this summer. The MTFS is neutral on reorganisation. As always, this is a very challenging MTFS with some difficult savings and some major risks to delivery. The demands for social care and SEND will not go away. Additional savings will be needed to found to mitigate the pressures and ensure that the essential services continue to be delivered. The recommendations, including the amendment on the level of council tax increase, are set out on the revised order paper. Thank you, Chair.
Could I now call on Mr. Harrison Fowler to speak and move the motion on the order paper, please?
Thank you, Chair. Over the last 9 months, it's become increasingly clear how complex the situation is with the organisation's finances, from internal and external pressures, from government and from general demand growth. Leicestershire County Council is woefully underfunded compared to other upper tier authorities, being the second worst funded across the board. And the information, or rather lack thereof, from central government when it comes to fair funding or settlement solutions has been a case of too little, too late. So that means that it puts us in a very difficult position. It's not easy, so there's no simple answers and no easy decisions to make. For us, this is about striking the balance between dealing with unprecedented demand and an unfortunate and unfavourable situation from central government, but also not blindly putting the maximum burden on the residents of the county purely because it's what's always been done. It's a situation where we have to bear in mind the perspectives of both our service users, but also those that pay their council tax and work very hard for their money. So as much as we want to be able to freeze council tax, that's obviously not a position we're in right now. But on the same score, it's not something we're prepared to do, that we just put it up to the maximum. We are all libertarians at heart here, from the party that we represent, and certainly myself as well. Small government, best government, and low taxes equals prosperity. That's why we feel we are striking the right balance with the 2.99%. People will recognise it's below inflation at its current level, and obviously we have ambitions in the future for potentially better outcomes, and that's always what we're going to be striving to do. We've got the efficiency review in the pipeline, and it's making some really steady progress, and I'm very happy with it as lead member, having the conversations I've had with Newton. But we've also got local government reorganisation on the horizon, which, if our proposal is taken forward, could see us making in excess of £40 million worth of savings. So there is a lot of scope on the horizon, and though with things like this naturally there will be uncertainty, we feel that we are commanding a steady ship with this, and like I say, we are making the right compromise, and we hope the people of the county will understand that and will appreciate the fact that we are trying to do what's best, not just for those that receive our services, but those that fund them as well. So based on that, I'm happy to propose the motion on the order paper, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Fowler. I will second the motion on the order paper. This is the first reform budget since the May elections, and I'd like to thank the officers for all their hard work in producing their consultation on this budget. Also, I'd like to place on record my thanks to Scrutiny for their input. These budget proposals will recommend an increase of 2.99 for the county element of the precept. This is the first time in 12 years a maximum increase hasn't been set, and is expected to be one of the lowest increases in any upper tier authority in the country. It is lower than the current level of household inflation, helping those with costs and living pressures. I'm proud to present the balanced budget, earmarking an extra 27 million for social care, 55 million to cover price and pay rises, plus 50 million capital finance for improving roads and new schools. I think I made an error there. It's not 500 101,000,000, capital finance for improving roads and new schools. Going forward, I'm confident that the efficiency review, groundbreaking in its approach and first of its kind in the country, will deliver savings and opportunities in the longer term. Delivery will be a key priority for my administration next year. I'm delighted to support the budget and recommend it to Cabinet for approval. Is that agreed? No? Oh, did you want to speak?
It's okay.
Yes, go on then. Yes, of course.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to echo the leaders and lead members' comments on this budget. I would also like to thank Scrutiny and staff for their input. Agreeing the 2.99% increase in the county precept is quite an achievement. We've taken a lot of flack from the opposition and some in the media for taking our time before recommending a level for the council tax. But after looking at the books, working with officers and Newtons, we are able to offer the lowest increase in the precept for over a decade. Just want to say that sentence again. The lowest increase in the precept for over a decade. On top of that, we've identified real achievable savings, provided extra resources for social care, and considerable investment in infrastructure through the capital pot. Many thought we couldn't do it, but we have set a balanced budget, minimised council tax, protected services, and this sets the foundations for the future. I'm delighted to support these budget proposals. Thank you, Chair.
Right, yes, Mr. Squires.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to take the opportunity to speak directly to members of the public who may be watching. There are two certainties in life. Tax is one of them. We need to tax our services. We need tax to run our services properly and to ensure that we're able to meet the needs of our residents, including those who are most vulnerable. That said, we're also considering that we're in a cost of living crisis, and we mustn't ask our residents to pay for more than they can afford. We are proposing a 2.99 real terms tax cut, which is one of the lowest in the country, if not the lowest. We're only asking the people of Leicestershire to pay the minimum amount of tax possible while still protecting vital services. We've performed a public consultation which supports our approach. Alongside driving up efficiency with our efficiency review, the administration is investing heavily into services, most notably adult social care and SEND. Cutting tax is not an irresponsible thing to do. It's the responsible, equitable solution which balances the needs of our residents. Our efficiency review is identifying tremendous savings, and this administration will always consider risk alongside need. I back the proposal on the order paper.
Thank you, Mr. Squires. Right, we've heard the comments. Could I have a show of hands, those in favour, please? Thank you. Right, item 5, school place strategy 2026 to 2031. Right. Next report advises of the outcome of the consultation on the County Council School Places strategy and seeks our approval of the final strategy. Tim Brown, the Interim Director of Education, Inclusion and Additional Needs, Renata Chantrill, Head of Services for Education Sufficiency, are here to present the report. I'll then ask Mr. Pugsley to speak as the Cabinet lead member. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader. So the purpose of this report is to advise Cabinet of the outcome of a consultation on the draft School Places Strategy 2026 to 2031 and to seek approval for the strategy which is attached. Since the publication of the previous strategy, there have been really significant changes to the education landscape which have shaped the draft strategy and the school places that we'll need going forward. Reductions in birth rate across the county after a period of significant increase in births and inward migration has led to the need for increased secondary school places as the bulge in numbers move from primary through to secondary. The impact on the primary school occupancy has been inconsistent, Some schools in popular areas have been oversubscribed, whereas some small primary schools in more rural areas have been below capacity. In order to meet the expected population growth, major housing development is proposed across all districts in Leicestershire. This has been anticipated to increase the pupil population by over 26,000 in the next 10 years. And that will add something like 45 new schools to our school estate across the county. So some really exciting developments. This draft strategy provides the framework on which the council will ensure there are sufficient high quality places in the right area at the right time and the overall sustainability of the school system across the county. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there another speaker now, or is no? That you're just doing it, Tim. Thank you very much indeed. I'd like to call now Mr. Pugsley to speak and move the motion on the order paper, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to start by thanking the officers for all of the brilliant work that they've put into the final school places strategy. And it clearly sets out how the council will continue to meet statutory duties by ensuring that there's sufficient high quality school places. And these are most importantly places that are in the right location, available at the right time and reflective of local need. I think it's also important to say that this strategy highlights the demographic and educational challenges that are currently being faced in the county, but also the council's plan for addressing them, including rising numbers of secondary pupils, uneven demand for primary school places, and as it's been mentioned, the increasing need for specialist SEND places. It also confirms how our commissioning role, robust forecasting methodology, and close partnership working with stakeholders such as schools, academies, district councils, and the Department for Education will underpin the delivery of future provision and ensure sustainable schools for the future. I'm also pleased to report that a school places delivery plan will be developed following publication of this strategy, setting out how the ambitions of this strategy will be achieved. With this in mind, I'd like to propose the motion on the order paper. This will ensure that we have the right framework in place to provide sustainable, high quality places for all children and young people in the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pugsley. Could I ask Mr. Kevin Cook to second the motion?
Thank you, Chair. I agree with Charles that the final school places strategy provides a clear and well-evidenced approach for how the council will plan, commission and deliver sufficient education places over the next 5 years. The strategy demonstrates strong analysis of local demographic trends, future housing growth and the increasing pressures on both mainstream and SEND provision. It also sets out a balanced and pragmatic approach to forecasting, school organisation and the commissioning of new or expanded provision where it is genuinely needed. I'm pleased to note that the actions proposed in response to the consultation feedback, particularly the publication of planning area data sheets and the development of a school places delivery plan to ensure transparent and effective implementation. These steps will strengthen confidence in the strategy for both stakeholders and local communities. I'm therefore happy to second the proposal. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Crook. Is that agreed? Thank you. Right, item 6, Children and Family Service Department Plan 2026 to 2029, pages, well, on the documents 105 to 110, but I don't think that's relevant for us this afternoon. Item 6 is a report seeking approval for the new Children and Family Service Department Plan, which is set out the high-level priorities for the next 3 years. Sharon Cook, Interim Director of Children and Family Services, here to present the report, along with Marla Razak, Children and Families Partnership Manager. And then I'll ask Mr. Puglis to speak again as a Cabinet Lead Member. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, so delighted to present to Cabinet today the proposed departmental plan for Children and Family Services. This plan will run from 2026 to 2029. The plan's been developed to ensure that as a local authority and department, we fulfil all our statutory duties and responsibilities to children, young people and families in Leicestershire. The basis of the plan provides the vision, the planning, the commissioning and delivery of services within the department until 2029, and ensures that our services work together on shared priorities, maximising resources and expertise and avoiding duplication. The service delivery plans that sit underneath this plan for each service area will ensure that we monitor our performance against the plan over the coming years. So the plan outlines the department's vision for how we deliver high quality services to children, young people and families in Leicestershire. It's underpinned by 3 ambitions, those ambitions being to build strong foundations, to ensure that children feel safe and belong, and that they enjoy and achieve. And sitting beneath those ambitions are 9 priorities that will ensure that we deliver and ensure impact against the plan for children and families. We're particularly delighted and proud that this version of the plan has been based very much on the feedback of what children and young people in Leicestershire have told us about the services we provide, and importantly about how best we can help meet their needs. So welcome any questions.
Thank you very much indeed. Could I call upon Mr. Pugsley, please, to speak and move the motion on the order paper?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to propose the motion on the order paper. The departmental plan details our ambition to deliver high quality services for children and young people in Leicestershire, but it also outlines how we'll meet our statutory duties and responsibilities, showing clearly our visions underpinned by clear priorities and how we'll achieve these across the services for which we're responsible. I'd also like to mention that I was particularly delighted to see that this new plan has been developed with the voices of children and their families at the heart of it, helping to ensure that we get the right support in the right place at the right time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Could I call upon Mr. Squires to second the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm pleased to second the proposal for the Children and Family Departmental Plan 2026-2029. The plan clearly sets out our vision, which is 3 ambitions and 9 priorities for how we will design, develop and deliver services for children, young people and their families. The plan has been developed following feedback from children and young people and their families, and helps drive the department's focus and how we will measure success and impact. Our vision is that Leicestershire is the place where all children can build strong foundations, be safe, belong, enjoy and achieve.
Thank you, Mr. Squires. Is that agreed? Thank you. Right, item 7 is the Climate Resilient Delivery Plan. This report seeks approval of the Cabinet of the Climate Resilience Delivery Plan. This is produced in accordance with our decision last July to change focus of activity from carbon reduction to climate adaptation. The Environment, Flooding and Climate Change Overview and Scrutiny Committee considered a report last week. Its comments are attached to the order paper. This meeting marks 7. Mark 7. Anne Carruthers, Director of Environment and Transport, is here to present the report. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, and as you've just said, the report sets out the draft Climate Resilience Delivery Plan for Cabinet's approval today. The new plan supersedes the Council's Net Zero Action Plans, which were in place before, and reflects the administration's revised priorities from moving from carbon reduction towards climate adaptation work, including responding to the impacts of that increasingly severe weather we're seeing, all those events and the impacts we have on our services. The plan supports the Council's environment strategy and takes into account the £2 million of funding that was reallocated from carbon reduction work into flood mitigation and adaptation work. The plan covers a 3-year period, and as you can see in the appendix where the actions are set out, we've clearly marked the policy areas that each action will contribute to, things like climate adaptation and flooding, nature and biodiversity, financial efficiencies. So we're absolutely clear on the outcomes that we're seeking to achieve from those actions. We propose to report annually on progress on the work under this delivery plan, and that will be done as part of our annual wider environmental performance report that goes to the Environment, Flooding and Climate Change Scrutiny Committee each year. The draft plan is appendix there. It was taken to Scrutiny Committee in January, and their comments are included in the order paper under item 7. That's all I was going to say, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Could I call upon Mr. Adam Tilbury to speak and move the motion on the order paper?
Thank you, Chairman. I will move the motion, and thanks to Anna and the officers for preparing this report. That's great, thank you. The report outlines Leicestershire County Council's plan to combat climate adaptation. It was indeed an engaging and productive scrutiny meeting where some fantastic questions were asked. It's encouraging to know that the 2 million we moved into flooding will strengthen our climate resilience. The money will help flood resilience and highways resistance to a climate adaptation. Let's all pray to the end of the wet weather in January and more for dry weather. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Tilbury. Is that agreed? Oh, sorry. Indeed. How could I miss Carl Abbott? My apologies to you, Carl.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm pleased to second this motion to approve the new Climate Resilience Delivery Plan. The plan reflects the decision of the Cabinet in July of last year to refocus activity on mitigating the impacts of severe weather events. Climate adaptation and projects that deliver additional benefits will be more than welcome. The new plan will help the council to prepare for the impacts of the changing climate and will support Leicestershire communities affected by flooding. I'm really pleased to see that the new actions, such as providing flood resilience equipment to communities at risk of flooding and a plan to introduce community grants to support the development of local resilience to flooding. The actions will really make a difference to Leicestershire communities affected by the flooding. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abbott. Is that agreed? Thank you. Right, we move on to item 8, which is the Leicester and Leicestershire Authority Statement of Common Ground relating to housing distribution. The last report today seeks approval for the council to become a signatory to a statement of common ground relating to the housing distribution, which has been produced by Leicester and Leicestershire local authorities. Jana Walker, Assistant Director of Development and Growth in the Environment and Transport Department, is here to present the report. Thank you, Jana.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, so just building on your really clear introduction there, the Statement of Common Ground that is attached as Appendix A to the report is an important basis to inform local plans across the housing market area. When I say housing market area, I mean in our case at the moment that is Leicester City and all of the district authorities in Leicestershire. So this report is a key component, or the Statement of Common Ground itself is a key component, the evidence base supporting local plan preparation. So the Statement of Common Ground provides that formally agreed position on cross-boundary housing need, and also how the unmet need, in this case identified within Leicester City, is distributed across the housing market area and indeed the district's planning authorities within the county. The Statement of Common Ground sort of demonstrates ongoing and collaborative work between the authorities. It will be essential to showing that the local plans are sound, reducing the risk of delay or challenge at examination of the local plans, and supporting a coordinated approach to long-term growth. In doing so, this will strengthen our collective ability, the County Council and the local planning authorities, to influence the location and timing of development and ensure that we're planning for infrastructure, and particularly in our case, transport, education, but other critical services as well, and make sure that they can be managed in a coherent and sustainable way for the future. So I'll leave it there, Chair, unless there's any questions.
Thank you. I'm happy to propose this report to Cabinet today, because the Statement of Common Ground on housing distribution is an important step in allowing Leicester and Leicestershire authorities to plan strategically for sustainable growth across the region. This is a pragmatic approach in time of transition in the national planning system to ensure collaboration, transparency across the city and county. This report confirms our ambitious work collectively to deliver the homes, infrastructure and opportunities for communities need for the future. I move the motion on the order paper, and I'd call upon Mr. Verge-Rakiki, please, to second.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree, Chair, that this report is an important building block in working together across Leicester and Leicestershire on planning and development. I'm very pleased to see that authorities can reach agreement on difficult issues like this. So as far as that's concerned, Chair, it gives me great pleasure to second this motion.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rakiki. Could I have a show of hands, please? Thank you. Item 9 is referral of overview and scrutiny. There are no items from the Overview and Scrutiny Committee. Any urgent business? There is no urgent business. This then brings our meeting to a close, and I'd like to thank you all for your attendance. Thank you.